Welcome to Calculations. My name's Gary Johnson, and tonight is a big night. I'm not talking the Oscars. I'm talking about the Divas of Jazz. That's what I'm talking about. We've got the Divas of Jazz here on Calculations, and so I want to go around and have the divas introduce themselves. We're going to get right into it. So I'm going to start on my board here. It's almost like Hollywood Squares. We're going to go with, in order, Jeanine, Alex, Kisha, and JoJo. Off to you, Jeanine. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Jeanine McAdams. The Nesbitt's going to go away very soon. And I am the founder of the group and the Divas of Jazz, which has been a vision of mine for a long, long time. And I'm the pianist and keyboardist, and looking forward to being, the producer and writing and things like that. And I just adore these ladies, and I'm so blessed and honored to be working with these ladies, with this group. I'm just thrilled beyond belief.
Thank you. Alex.
Hi, my name is Alex Badidpo Shaw. I'm the saxophonist in the group. I started playing with them just a few months ago, and this is a killer group. I really am happy to be a part of this.
Let's give the drummer some. Kisha.
Hello, my name is Kisha Pugh. I'm the drummer of the group, and I just want to say that I'm excited about playing jazz again. And thanks to Jeanine. Thank you, Jeanine, for that.
Hi there, my name is JoJo. I'm the bass player. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this interview. And these girls are awesome, and I love it when we gas each other up like that. This is just love. Love you guys.
So, is it true that Jeanine, you came up with the name Divas of Jazz? You all can stay unmuted. You all can stay unmuted. It's everyone else I'm worried about.
Yes, I'm very meticulous about nomenclature. Divas is my second all-female group that I've put together in the Central Florida area. Most of us have worked together in I have an R&B pop group called Audacity, and it took me like 2 days, I think, to come up with the name. And I was talking to Chauncey about it, and I said it's got to be the right name. And I went through jazz divas, women of jazz, jazzy women. I went through all these different things. And so when I came up with Divas of Jazz, I immediately worked on the logo and then presented both of that to Chauncey, and he just loved it. And it just flows. And so we call each other divas, like, hey, diva, what's up? And so, but it's working. And we're taking that negative connotation of diva and flipping it on its ear, because all of us, we are ladies of class and dignity and style and incredible musicianship, and we just happen to be women.
I first saw you all a week ago today. My wife and I were at the Ormond Beach Center for the Performing Arts. I hope I got that correct. And saw you, and when I left there, I said to myself, man, I've had some other musicians, and I've interviewed some musicians. I said, I have to get them on the show and record them. And so I talked to Chauncey, and Chauncey's a no-nonsense guy, because here it is a week later, and bam, we're here. And for those people who haven't had a chance to see you all, I'd like to show a clip of you all in action last week. And let's take a look at you all in action, because you all were doing it. by the way, was courtesy of one Jeffrey Boat.
Oh,
So
okay.
I want to thank Jeff for that clip. So do you all remember that, all that good stuff? How you were knocking them out? You all did about, I'd say maybe 6 decades worth of jazz.
Yes.
At least by my recollection, as a novice.
That was deliberate. Yes.
Okay.
Very good observation. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, it was a showcase. I was doing the math, you know. Like, that's about six, decades worth of jazz.
Yes.
We're going to open up to questions pretty soon from the people who are here, but I want to know, are you all classically trained?
Absolutely.
Okay. Kinda.
Kinda, yeah.
What?
What does kinda mean, JoJo?
No, a year actually. I did orchestra on upright for a year. I actually did like symphonic band and things like that throughout high school, and college, But yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay. So what part of the country are you all from? Jeanine, where are you from?
I am from Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Grew up with Prince and everything, so yeah.
And you have a connection with Sounds of Blackness as well, right?
Yes, I'm a member of Sounds of Black. That's what this gold record is, Sounds of Blackness.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Alex, you were moving that sax.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I love playing, man. It's just so fun, especially with such like a killer group. It's just awesome to jam with these ladies. Well, I was born outside of Chicago, but I've been in Central Florida since I was little. I grew up in Daytona Beach, really close to Ormond, where we did that show. And then I moved to Orlando in 2006 to go to college. I went to UCF, so I've been in Orlando ever since.
Okay. Kisha.
Yes, I'm originally from Waterloo, Iowa. I'm a Midwest girl, but I've been living in Orlando for quite some time now. So,
If I may say,
sure.
Kisha and I met 20 years ago at Disney. Disney brought her in to do one of their shows at Epcot, and I was a production assistant on that show. And Kisha and I reconnected about a year or so ago. And as we were talking, I asked her, because I wondered what had happened to her. And it was a jazz show that they brought her in for. And you had just finished college. And she remembers me screaming like, "You're that Kisha!" It's like, I always wondered what happened to you. And I've been talking to her for like 2 or 3 months before I had that realization. I just wanted to interject that. So, yes.
Kisha, I got to ask you hang on 1 second, JoJo. I just got to ask you a quick question about what I saw last week. What was going on with the drum? Were you just killing the drums, or what happened?
No, you didn't do that.
They do say I have a heavy foot, but yeah, it was the bass drum was sliding. The bass drum legs, they kept getting loose. So
But the show kept going though.
Yeah, I had to keep going.
My girl did not, I repeat, did not miss a beat.
At all.
At all. I had no idea what was going on. All I could tell is she was playing it different than what we had planned. And then until I saw her do one of these numbers, because I couldn't see the drum kit over the piano, and I'm like, something's up. And then someone whispered in my ear that her drums were sliding out. But she never missed pockets. She never missed a beat. So, girl.
Thank you.
Diva! I'm sorry.
JoJo, where are you from?
So I was born in Newark, New Jersey, but literally as I was born, they left. They said it was too cold. I grew up in Fort Pierce, Florida. And then after I graduated high school, I moved to Orlando in 2010, and I've been here ever since.
Okay. I want to ask you about your musical influences, and then I'll open it up to our audience here. But Jeanine, how about some of your musical influences? You mentioned one of them up there in Minneapolis. I guess he is the musical influence. But
Yeah.
go ahead. Any others?
Well, coming up in South of Blackness, you know, in the Twin Cities, the whole Minneapolis music scene, we were a very close-knit family. So Jam and Lewis, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. But as a kid, I grew up listening to my parents listened to all kinds of music. And one of the main influences for me was Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66, the Carpenters, you know, the gospel music. I started playing in church when I was 16. And then primarily right now, my biggest influences is like the late, great George Duke, Jeff Lorber, late, great Joe Sample. I listen to the Crusaders all the time, and Patrice Rushen and Nina Simone, you know, just a lady that a lot of people don't know about yet, but I'm music directing a show about her life, Lillette Harris, very influential and just amazing musicians, and even the Beatles influenced me and stuff. So it's just, I had such a rich surrounding of different kinds of music from all over the world and stuff, and definitely love, and I'm big on Latin jazz. That's my next big thing to conquer, is Latin jazz.
Alex, your influences.
Well, musically, I'm all over the board. I grew up kind of not listening to music other than whatever my parents listened to on the radio, which was classic rock. But then I started getting into Latin music and listening to this. I was a clarinet player back then, so I was listening to like some Tito Puente and Arturo Sandoval, and I wanted to be a sax player. So I started listening to a lot of Joshua Redman, who's still my all-time favorite saxophonist, and then Chris Potter, Cannonball Adderley. These are the biggest saxophone influences in my life.
Okay. Kisha.
Yes, I agree with you, Alex and Jeanine, because I think as a drummer, you should be able to play all different styles of music. So I definitely can play anything that I hear, but jazz just happens to be my favorite style of music. So like I said before, like Dizzy Gillespie is my ultimate favorite, with the Cuban influence and the, you know, mixing with the jazz. And Buddy Rich, and I listened to him a lot in high school. Max Roach, David Garibaldi, those guys.
Come on, JoJo.
So, polite. So, like, you know, we were saying before, well-rounded musicians need to, you know, have an open ear and be a chameleon and like that. But I think for my only two real influencers were Derek Hodge from he played with Robert Glasper, Experiment, and Ethan's the amazing. And I didn't think female musicians get out in the open. My band director showed me her one day, and I was just like so super inspired, and hopefully I get to meet her.
Because we saw you playing the bass guitar, but you also play the stand-up bass. Is that what they call it, the stand-up bass?
Stand up, double bass, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who has questions for the divas? Let's get you all in. You all have waited long enough. Anybody with some questions for the divas? Let's go. You can unmute. I see Gerald. Is it?
It's Gordine. I'm trying
Gordine,
to.
yes.
So
Yes,
am I on now? So I came in a little bit late, so probably this has been already addressed, but I'm just curious, how long have you performed together as a group?
Well, over the years, we performed in different groups and bands, but collectively as divas, it's been just a few months, but the majority of us met in one of my other groups, all-female groups called Audacity, that I put together about 2.5 years ago and stuff. So, and working in different, you know, venues and different bands and things like that. So collectively, we have over like 100+ years of experience collectively.
Fantastic.
So it's really cool. Thank you.
Sure. So I have one more question.
Who else is up? Next question. Mr. Bell, Mr. Harold Bell from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I'm a little late getting in here, but where are you guys located?
From the
Where you
Midwest,
going?
I'm from the Midwest, Waterloo, Iowa.
Okay. And where do you operate out from? Do you operate separately, virtually? How is this going?
We operate out of Central Florida, out of the Orlando area.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what I want to know. Okay. Okay. So they down in Garrett's territory then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I see Lou. Lou has his hand up. Go ahead, Lou.
Hey, ladies. Hey, listen, do you guys have a goal, you know, as a group? Do you have a goal? Do you know, I'm sure you want to go a lot more than local, but what do you want to do? You've been together for a few months now. So what is your goal? At least, you know, the steps to it. I'd like to know that.
When I put this group together, my vision for this group was for us to be move forward in a unique way. First of all, we're excellent musicians who happen to be women. And I used to read, I hated the novelty of that, but we're really good musicians. We're very good and very confident in what we do. I see us as recording artists. I see us touring and performing. And this is it. Joella, Alex, Kisha, and Jeanine, we are Divas of Jazz. That's it. Anyone else is a feature. And I say that because we're not necessarily singers per se. And so I kind of liken us to like foreplay, you know, and each of us individually have our own aspirations as artists and educators and producers and composers. And, you know, like I music direct theater as well as I teach. And I think Alex is teaching, and Joella, you know, you're doing studio work and you've toured with some Broadway shows and things like that. And Kisha, you're teaching and stuff. But when we come together, Divas of Jazz is an entity that, you know, I see us in Australia, I see us in Europe. So we do have some goals, and we're just gonna enjoy playing together, and with intelligence and dignity and class, we're gonna move forward and hope that other people around the world get to hear us and be the independent, viable group that I really want us to be. And I know we can do it. We can do it.
I don't want to take all the time, but one more question. What about original material? Yeah, are you guys, and if when you go original, are you any particular, you're going to do jazz, but is there anyone to equate a particular sound? Like you mentioned foreplay, whom I love, but you know, any particular area you want to go as far as original material is concerned?
That's not a hard question to answer, but I will say it like this. We have a sound. The four of us have a sound, and that we're going to write to that sound. We're in that jazz vernacular. And Alex referred to it as post-bop, and I'll let her talk about that in a hot second here. But you know, we start out, you know, with that traditional side of jazz, you know, because there's a lot of wonderful smooth jazz artists out there, but we kind of want to bring it back and do that fusion. And the vibe that we have, we're just going to see how it comes out. You know, we're going to start working on a recording project this summer, and we're going to see how it works. And Alex, I don't know if you want to speak any more to that, or any of the other ladies as well.
Well, I mean, as you said, I would kind of imagine us as post-bop, because we're not smooth. We're not bebop. We're a little too groovy, you know, and we like that funk music. We like to mix a little bit of what is fun to play together. So, you know, I'd kind of equate it more toward that post-bop genre, like the Joshua Redmond side, where you don't know what he's going to sound like and his group's going to sound like. It sounds like whatever they're feeling at this moment and how the musicians play together. So I'm kind of saying we're not one genre, we're a combination of all of our musical histories and backgrounds.
Very well said.
Like the four of us personalities come together to make an album. I'm excited about that.
Reggie Upshaw, I see your hand up.
Yeah.
Come on, Mr. Jazz Singer.
Hey, I really enjoyed the clip of Moon Dance. Just a wonderful, I guess, rock tune that that really got jazz. That was really more bluesy than anything, but especially after what Changes by McFerrin,
Mhm.
his version. I would have loved to have caught that show if y'all played, 6 different decades of music. I would have loved to have caught that. And I look forward to what the group brings. I think of other wonderful woman-led groups. My favorite, Terry Lynn Carrington, Mosaic Project, um, uh, and just one of my favorite, artists forever, Michelle Indigo-Cello.
Mhm.
So we look forward to that mixture. And I don't think you have to mention so much that you're women. Y'all just play and do your stuff, okay? Because when I think I think of so many artists. I don't bother thinking that they're women. I'm just there's folks that we groove with, folks that we're gonna listen to, and that's just the way it is, And me being vocalist and jazz being the thing, I mean, half the artists I listen to are primarily women, that's in particular Abby Lincoln and Betty Carter.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then Cassandra Wilson.
Yes.
Man, I can just go on. Carmen Bratt. There's so many. It just goes on. Carmen London. It goes on and on and on. And it's just the thought that they're artists. So I look forward to hearing more of the collaboration and switch it up and play what's fun. Switch it up and play what hits you. There's a wonderful Korean or she's Japanese. Juna Sarita, Tokyo Groove. They.
Girl.
Yeah, and these girls are jamming. They're just having fun mixing it up. So I know with the rich, with the rich environment of music, of all the music that's out there that encompasses jazz, Latin, Brazilian, blues, funk, grooves, whatever. Yeah, y'all can do some really nice stuff together. Have fun. Let us see you jamming. And trust me, if we see y'all having a good time playing, we're going to have a good time.
I saw these ladies last week, man. They were having a good time.
Yeah.
At least they looked like it. I'm sure they
I
were.
would love to cut that whole show.
Yeah. Ms. Wright, I see you up there. Let's go.
Okay, so I just want to make a comment. I recently relocated from the Ormond Beach area, and now I'm down in Punta Cana. And I missed the show. And I have to say, I am going to do whatever I have to do to come to the next show that you guys do in Ormond Beach, because I got at least 5 phone calls about it was awesome. So
wow.
my hat's off to you, ladies.
Thank you.
I will be there.
Thank you.
Well, we're not above shameless plugs on this show. So when is your next show?
It is May 1st at the Ormond Beach Performing Arts Center.
Yes, yes.
And we're so grateful to Mr. Mark Schwartz for having us. And we're so grateful.
All right. So any other questions?
I want to ask, what promotion and marketing guys, you got somebody handling your promotion and marketing?
Yes, we do.
Must be Chauncey.
Yes,
it is. I'm trying to be the quiet one.
You're doing good though, man.
Thank you.
Well, I've already said we're not beyond shameless plugs here. Chauncey is the person behind Adante Productions, so you may as well give us a little bit of talk to us.
Well, I tell you what, rather than to hog the conversation, the article is written as to what makes Dante tick. And it's not just me, it's 27 other people behind me that make it work. Sometimes It's all good. Sometimes it's not good. James, I'm not going to call your name, but you know, we go through a lot to make this work. And being new in Central Florida, starting something was extremely hard. I quit 4 times a day, every day. Lady that's on it just said she's coming to Ormond Beach. She would call me 4 times a day and make me start all over again. Jerry Wright Gibson. And it's not easy, but I have to admit, it's an awful lot of fun. The marketing is unique. The marketing is my own style. I never went to school for marketing, but dealing in Florida, you have to be unique because the competition is so strong. I quit.
Okay, that article that Chauncey's referencing will be on the homepage of blackmeninamerica.com and calculations after midnight, at probably 12:01 midnight tonight. So thank you very much there, Chauncey. Any
And
other questions?
all staff members of Dante got an advance copy, so they've seen it.
Okay.
Jerry
All
Wright's
right.
got a question.
Yes, I wanted to ask, is there a website where we could find a schedule of the Divas of Jazz to know the different places they're going to perform, different dates?
Coming soon.
Coming soon?
Coming soon.
In development.
In development. Yeah.
Somebody else. What else? While we have the Divas of Jazz here.
Hey, hell, Dr. Fagan, take your mute off.
Hello, everyone from Little Rock, Arkansas. I have heard so much about the group, so congratulations on an excellent show last week. Sorry I could not be there. I would love to hear more about the logo that you have. I think it's absolutely elegant, and I'd just like to hear more about the inspiration for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. The name inspired me. The name, when I figured out the name, I immediately, within 30 minutes, created that logo. And I wanted to express elegance. I wanted to express femininity, but also, you know, make it showy. Oh, thank you. And, you know, that we just love doing what we do and to catch everyone's attention. Because usually when you hear Divas of Jazz, you automatically think about Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan. You know, that's been the stock name for Divas of Jazz. So we're definitely bringing a different brand to it, but the name inspired me. And also what we decided, you know, what we were going to wear. And we said, well, we'll wear white and gold. And so that also added for when I put it together to inspire, you know, I love the colors. I love the gold. Gold is just priceless, you know, and enduring. And, you know, white is just like, white shows everything very clearly. And Divas of Jazz and Rez, you know, we're hot, you know, we're just red hot. And that icon, you know, is, like I said, expressing the femininity of us and whatnot. So all those elements were involved and it came to me like within an hour. I was really shocked, which I think that was a divine thing that happened, frankly. So, but thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions for the Divas?
Not. Yeah,
yes, go ahead, Luke.
It's not a question, but it's a comment, and I want to take up on what my man Reggie Upshaw said a little while ago, and that was, you guys don't need to advertise really as women. I mean, you're good, all right? I mean, you're good, you sound good, and when you and all I'm thinking about is the music. Although being an all-girl band is definitely a plus, but what's all is said and done, I'm not going to give any passes if you're a male or female. If music is good, it's good. If it isn't good, it's not good. That's just all there is to it. And I'll tell you one other thing is, you know, guys been mentioning a lot of artists, and Reggie, like you, about 50% of the people that I listen to are female vocalists. I mean, they're great. And there was this one, I don't know if you guys heard this young lady named Lindsay Webster. She knocks you off your feet, and she's different, but I like the difference, and I like the difference that you guys pose as well. So that's just comments, and that's it. I'm pleased to be on this call. Thanks, Chauncey, for keeping your boy. Hey, I appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'm done, and congratulations and good luck, y'all.
Thank you.
I did want to say,
add to that.
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Deborah.
One of my favorite artists is Mindy Abair, sax player.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see, a lot of discussion about, don't worry, you know, female band, this, that, and the other. I think you're shattering her song title. What is it? That's Pretty Good for a Girl. The song that she has out. Most of the jazz performers I see and I love are vocalists. You all are shattering that's pretty, you know, that whole concept and that stereotype of, oh, that's pretty good for a girl. You're shattering that. You're great. So as musicians, you were just wonderful. And I keep thinking about that song when I think about you all and how well you're doing and how well you perform. Nobody can say that to you anymore.
Well, Deborah, thank you so much for saying that. I want to say that my emphasis about, you know, talking about us being women and female, first of all, and I'm sure this is where Mindy Abair was coming from too when she wrote that tune. It's very hard for women, period, in society. But when you talk about music and entertainment, it's even that much hard. We never make the same amount our male counterparts do. We normally don't get the same push or the same support that male counterparts do. And it's been a big soapbox that I've been screaming from most of my career. And I've been in situations even as a young woman, as a young musician, where I've walked into church, and I've dealt with this more in church than anything. And I'm walking in ready to, you know, I am the choir director, I am the musician, and I'm putting this concert together. And I've had guys walk in and say, I can't do this concert with a woman that plays better than I can. You know, and I think all the ladies, I think at some point we run across that kind of, mindset and attitude over the years. And so the emphasis on it's a celebration of womanhood, and we just don't want to celebrate it just in March. And it is a unique situation because we're not singers per se. We're not jazz vocals, we are musicians. And that's why I likened it to foreplay, because usually when you see women on the stage, you're expecting somebody to be singing. And that's what the uniqueness of us, and as we go along, is that, you know, I want us to be like the Crusaders or the Rippingtons or Foreplay or what have you, you know, or Jeff Lober Fusion or what have you. But there's another all-female, there's two other all-female jazz groups that I'm aware of, and that's Jazz in Pink in Los Angeles with Gail Johnson. And then there's a phenomenal Latin jazz group out of Canada. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but, you know, and they're very unique, you know, and so you don't hear much about them, but we're hoping to open that up, you know, like Mindy Abair and Jasmine Gant and Candy Dolfer and Joyce Cooling on guitar. You know, you hear these individual artists, but an actual group, you know, it's very rare. So that's why the emphasis of talking about we're great musicians who happen to be women is I'm really wanting to tear down those barriers for future musicians. And I know, Joella, I know you were getting ready to say something. I'm sorry.
I know. And you just, first moved out to Orlando, I went through a phase where I started dressing like a guy. Because, you know, before I moved out there, I always hear, oh, you're good for a girl. Or, you know, they really are just after the way you look and things like that. They don't really respect you as a musician or care how you play. So I was dressing like a guy, graphic tees and jeans, just so that people can, you know, hone in on, oh, you know, she can play. You know, I was like, why should I blend in? Yeah, I mean, why should I take away who I am? for people. So I put two and together and it's working, and it's me. So yeah, you have to be that person. Sometimes you have to, all that thing, just be this male dominated industry. But yeah, it's real out here.
Let me add to it, Gary. Reggie and Lou, from the business point of it, you'd be surprised as to people that don't want to pay the salary I asked for because they're women. And I demand the salary equal to a man's salary. If they can't pay the right salary, the girls can't play.
See, this is linked into what we had, the conversation we had briefly before the show, when I asked you all, what are some of the calculations that you have to go through to get to this point? And it's, JoJo talked about it, and now you're talking about it, the salary differences and all this other stuff that you all have to go through just to get to this point. So, and I think you all talked about practice, how hard and how often you all practice to be as good as you are.
And sometimes the distance they have to drive to come to practice.
Yeah, that too.
Wow.
When I have them come up to Daytona to practice, none of them can stop at a gas station and say, Chauncey sent me. They got to put money in the tank.
Okay.
Yeah, well, silly.
Oh, Lou, did you have another comment or question?
Yeah, I do. Are you guys going to stay 4, or are you going to add another musician? Or are you going to add a vocalist? Or are you just going to stay as you are?
Divas of Jazz is Joella, Kisha, Alex, and me. We are going to stay 4. Anyone else in the mix is going to be a feature. So like what we're doing on May 1st, it's Divas of Jazz featuring Nina Sky on vocals.
All right.
But I never want to give up the essence of Divas of Jazz. This is it. We are Divas of Jazz.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great question. Anybody else? Any comments before we?
Alex and Kisha, I'm back on, we were talking about all female. I mean, I would love to hear you all, what's your thoughts on that same situation as well?
I haven't quite experienced quite the same thing. Anytime I'm on a band, I get paid the same amount as all the men I work with. My biggest problem comes about, I feel like, when I'm called individually or separated from the group. Usually as a sax player, I have no home, with the exception of now this one and, anything that I create myself. I'm usually an add-on. You usually have singer, you have to have bass, guitar, drum, but a lot of time the budget of clients doesn't have enough for the saxophone. So I play in a lot of bands like once a year, like I'm part of 100 bands once every 2 years type thing. So, most of the time I just get paid the rate that all the other musicians are getting. But I've noticed that I have problems when I'm negotiating myself. Like somebody says, hey, you're playing saxophone. How much do you want? How much is your rate? And I'm like, man, I'm always pricing myself out. But when an agent is selling me as not a woman, but as a saxophone, I can get that rate. But the moment a client talks to me directly as a woman, it's like, I'm not worth it anymore. And I'm like, you've never heard me play. You have no idea. Like, I literally did your gig 2 weeks ago for that rate through an agent. But now it's not the same, so it's a little different. Like negotiation is a different situation because that is business. And I know some agents out there that are women that are absolute sharks and they are killer at getting their worth. But then, I feel like a lot of it has to do with self-confidence and how you present yourself. And, some of us are just not that aggressive to say, I demand this, or I don't care. I'm out, peace. And that's what I love about Jeanine. She's like, no, we are getting our worth or we're not doing anything. We're done. So I love that.
Yeah, I would say definitely like hanging out with Jeanine and Joe and everybody. I'm learning a lot about the business and everything like that. And I've had some experiences as like Joe had when they would say I'm a girl, girls can't play drums. So I've had that experience, but now it doesn't, this kind of stuff doesn't bother me anymore. I've actually had someone say that I play like a guy. So because I tend to play aggressively. So,
If that's the car, right? No.
It's like, and you play like a guy as opposed to.
That's exactly. No.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I should take that as a compliment. I was just like, okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's like, you're a fabulous musician, period. To, I think what Reggie was saying, and Lou, but there's always that. And so, we're not going to shift the entire paradigm, of course not. But I think that we are starting another movement in all of this. And I think that particularly in Florida, though my head is outside of Florida in a sense, but even here, it's been doubly hard here for all of us, I believe, in Florida, even compared to Minneapolis, my experience in Minneapolis. It's just been very difficult, and to be respected and treated as your other male counterparts. That's my whole like mission in the rest of my life and my career, and that we're viable. And I just thank everybody for your observations and your comments about the show and about the clip and stuff, because it just affirms and confirms for us and that we're on the right track.
How about this as a maybe a final question as we go out? I'd like to hear from each one of you. What piece of advice would you give to anyone who wants to be a career musician?
I would definitely say never give up, because first of all, it's not easy being a musician, period. And when I look at other musicians out there and the only thing they're doing is just music, I commend them, because it's just really not easy. But you just have to keep pushing and moving forward on it.
I was gonna say, don't do it. No. No. Life to make it. You're an entrepreneur. You're selling yourself, so if you're driven, it's a career for you. If you're not, you're heartbroken a lot. But just stay focused. Focus on your craft. Practice your craft, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Alex?
Well, I'm a full-time musician. I've been doing this. In my adult life, I've never had another job. So I would say, honestly, my parents told it to me like this: you're in a contest profession. We don't want to look at it as a contest, but really there's a limited number of jobs and they choose that amount of people. And there's more people that say I'm a musician than the amount of jobs that are available for you. So they said, in order to win the contest, you better work harder than everybody else. That's one, you practice more, practice harder. I was on my horn 8 to 10 hours a day for years while I was in school, every day. I never missed a day. I'd write down my log, because you need to reach 10,000 hours is what they say to become to gain some mastery in something. So it's time, but it's also, you have players that are better than me, but they don't get hired because it's part of the hang. Like, as long as you're do the job, you also got to be cool. So be a good person, be a cool hang, and work your butt off, and you'll do well.
And initially I say don't quit the day job, because I did the double life for a long time. I did the corporate job. I was a entertainment manager at Disney for 17 years here when I moved to Florida. And in Minneapolis, I was an administrative profession. And so I had my day job, and this is when I was young enough to do this and still have some energy. But, but I had my day job, and when the Sounds of Blackness were recording their album, I do my day job, 40 hours a week, and then get in the car, have my keyboard in the back, change my clothes, and head out to Flight Time Studios. And I would be there till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then get in my car and beat the sunrise to take a power nap to get up and do it all over again. You can do that when you're young, but as you, you get older and you have to make some decisions. So a couple of things, I totally agree with the ladies just said. And, you know, set some goals and learn the business of entertainment in music. Because I don't care if you're a classical musician, orchestral songwriter, producer, music supervisor for film, manufacturing an instrument, I don't care what aspect of it, you need to not only learn your craft, but you need to learn the business that your craft operates in, because you're gonna have those bumps in the road, but make sure you learn from them. So you need to see yourself as a branded entity. And like Kisha said, never, ever give up. As long as you have air in your body and the capability, keep trying, keep going for it.
All right, we are just about out of time. I loved talking with you all. I think you all gave insights that we weren't expecting, particularly about the equity in the business and the hard work and the calculations that it takes to stay there, to be there. And I want to take us out looking at your performance again last week. Now that we've heard you all talk about it, let's look again, because I'm gonna look with a different eye here about this fun thing, but let's take a look at you all as we play our way out here from last week. All right.
Good stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the Divas of Jazz. I'm telling you, I love it. Hey, for anyone who misses this show, it's going to be up tomorrow, maybe a little bit after midnight, on the Calculations talkshow.com website, on blackmeninamerica.com, or I'm sure we'll give it to Adante and Facebook and all over social media. And people who missed out, they just missed out, but they can see it again. Any final comments, ladies?
Have a great night.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
All right. Stay safe, everybody. I'm Gary Johnson for CalculationsTalkShow.com. Be safe.
Bye.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
See you
Till next
guys.
time.
Chauncey, thanks.